briefly, I'd like to start off with a little bit of humor. And growing up in the U.S., you hear about, Asia and the weird, the strange things, and the exotic, things that happen. And I'm just briefly give you a testimony of they're really true, So with the humor, there was a commercial, there's an ad in the U.S. about 20 years ago for Visa credit card, and they were emphasizing new and unique restaurants, and they were emphasizing how they took Visa card, but they don't take American Express, and so their the ad said, when you go to this restaurant, do two things: arrive early and bring your Visa, because they don't take reservations, they don't take American Express. So with that, I know there's a lot of travelers here and a lot of adventurous people, going to Nepal, going to Philippines for tsunami and scuba diving, things like that. I'm got lots of stories here. With that, but two things when in the Philippines or going anywhere is first of all, ask God to bless it and ask God to give you a vision, and get an travel insurance policy. But also bring some cash in the local currency. So anyhow, we were heading to see her family in the Philippines, and it started off kind of rocky. We left the Christmas party early because we had to get up like really early for flights, and we got up early, and for whatever reason we didn't check the weather, even though there was a typhoon going on. We just didn't check. Got there and they said 8 o'clock flight's been delayed till like 5 o'clock, so we turned around, came back, and waited around all day, and that was kind of stressful. I had an argument over various things on luggage and all that. Anyhow, we went back to the airport later on, made the flight, and got there, got to Manila. I think we sat in Manila for like 2 hours so they could get the gates open, just because of the traffic that day. So I know the enemy was really attacking us just from the argument and the stress there. And we had a really good Christmas trip, seeing the family, and riding motorcycles, dodging cars, and jeepneys, everything, and shooting fish. That was the first time Abigail and I got to do that, and dodging the firecrackers that go on in the Philippines at New Year's. So. Anyway, I visited the family. Next to the last day, we decided to go swimming to a water park, and we'd been there just a short time. There was this huge ball in the pool, and I remember a couple things I remember looking back is for the past month or two, I remember praying, Lord, everything I have is yours, my family, my life, my health and everything belongs to you. I remember praying that real distinctively over the past couple months. Not like I was just doing it all the time, but I just remember the real distinctive prayers. And they're thinking, I know we're going to a park, but I don't feel like I need to swim all day at any, just going to enjoy the day. But there was this huge huge ball, and I said, okay, I'm just going to run and see if I can tackle it. I don't even remember now. It's just a challenge to see if I could ride it or anything. Anyhow, I did that a couple times. Second time, next thing I remember diving onto it, and the next thing I remember is trying to come up out of the water, seeing the water, but not being able to move up, and not feeling fearful, but just like, something's definitely wrong, and like, am I in a bad dream? It's basically, it wasn't terror-filled, but it's like, this isn't a dream, this is real. Next thing I can remember is being in a hospital and seeing the nurses and remembering that I was speaking in tongues. And I've spoken tongues very forcefully twice in my life. The first time was about 25 years ago when we were driving on the freeway in the U.S. and it was very icy. And we hit an icy patch and the car just swirled around, and I just started praying as loud as I could in tongues. And literally 10, 15 minutes later on, we were back on the freeway, no crash, no injuries or anything. And I testified about that many times over my life. And the second one was just a few weeks ago. And I believe that was when you can't pray, the Spirit's praying for you. So many of you have seen that picture or the video of me, and anyhow, apparently that was by the time I remember jumping in the water, everything else was blank. And to the time I woke up in the hospital was less than an hour. But within a few minutes of that, somebody pulled me out of the water, and thank God my wife knew CPR. She resuscitated me. So, you only need to, if you ever take a class or get a chance to take a class, you only have to use CPR once in your life to really benefit somebody. So that was something I'm always going to be thankful for, and it's just given me a real new vision of God, is having my wife of 18 years be the one that resuscitated me, because there wasn't, even though it was a water park with pools, there wasn't a lifeguard in that area. And thankfully she was just a couple minutes away, and she heard people yelling and resuscitated me. But later on at the hospital, they had already checked me, and the doctor said that I had drowned. So they were just actually a possibility of me, I guess, enough water in my lungs that I could drown again somehow medically. There was still water in here, but they gave me medication, and I was fine over the next couple days. And over the next couple days in the hospital in the Philippines, it was a real blessing there, because going back to the Visa card ad is whenever you're traveling, have some cash in the currency, because their policy there is if you're not a citizen, then you've got to put down like a 50% deposit, and literally within 15 or 20 minutes I guess, I don't know how much time it is, but everybody there within it, came up with several hundred US$ between all the adults, and even somebody sent some Western Union from another city in the Philippines to the Western Union down from where the hospital was, and somebody, we drove down there and picked it up, and then they let us in. So it was good medical care, and also difference in the U.S. and the Philippines is was something that I really appreciated there, and I wasn't scared of being in a foreign hospital, is that they let the family stay in there and with you while you're recuperating. So it was really a blessing to have Emmy and Abigail with me, helping me out for the time there. They just slept on the sofa there, and really nursed me back to to I guess, health enough to get out of the hospital and recuperate, come back to Hong Kong. With that, so anyhow, we came back to Hong Kong, stayed in the hospital a couple days, and doctors basically gave the second opinion, same things that the Philippine doctors said, that I had drowned and been resuscitated. And as we were talking about this morning, two doctors said, "You're a very lucky man." So I said, "Well, I'm very blessed. It's a miracle. It's not luck. It's just God watching over a situation like that." But I would say over the past 6 weeks now, I've been home. Went back to my school last week. Just used the computer, used the mouse, and kind of get out of the house mainly and all that. I've been able to give the testimony to several people, and telling my sister and my cousin all that I've spoken in tongues twice in my life, and this last one had a real meaning to them as a testimony of what God will do for it. And I would say along with that too is a couple months ago I've grown up just with the appreciation of being able to find a scripture, a chapter, and a verse like we all have, and get some meaning out of that. But I've been wanting to get a greater depth of meaning in the scriptures, so I bought a Bible it doesn't have the chapters in the verse, which is what I've been reading about, is the way the Bible originally was written, like a diary format, and just free form writing out. The chapters and verse were maybe in the last 500 years. And that's been a real blessing, first of all, having some time to where you feel like you can't get out and do anything because you're sleeping 12 hours a day, you're tired, or you're just in pain on recuperating, is you have time to read the scriptures and take the time. And instead of looking for just like one little scripture on a computer like we do nowadays, we Google through it and you pull up 75 references on one subject. It's just open it up and read it like a story, which has really illuminated a lot of God's insight in the Lord. Is just reading the Bible like I would read a novel or a book, and you can read that easily an hour at a time and really enjoy that with that. So I just wanted to, like I said, give testimony of what transpired in just a brief amount of time, how the Lord is watching over us and blessing us even in difficulties. Anything that's a difficulty in our life, and His miraculous power. So, thank you very much.
Just as you're there, Richard, I just wanted to check with Amy, because there was a period of time you were knocked off. You didn't know what was happening. Right. It was a time of almost an hour. Mm-hmm. So in that time, Amy was there. Amy, just very quickly, just going through the situation right now. What had happened? How did you find out?
We were in Laguna. There was it was a resort there. Richard was there, and my nieces and my nephews. They were having a good time. They were swimming, and I just left 5 minutes to see what's my mother's condition. My mother was with us. She was in the wheelchair, so I just wanted to check my mother. I'm just gone for 5 minutes, and after 4 minutes, my nephew came and he said, "Auntie, something wrong with Rich." And I know it's not a good news, so I just ran to see Richard, and I saw he's lying down, and he was really wild. There's no blood, there's no pulse, and I know that really something wrong. It's not really he wasn't really looks good. I thought he was gone. And I was standing there and watching him, and I said, "Lord, what do you want me to do? I need to do something, but please show me what to do." I just suddenly clicking in my mind, and I need to give CPR, to him. But I supposed to count when I was doing CPR, but I have no chance to count it. The only thing I was saying is, Lord, and I was, praying, and I said, Lord, please give his life back. And the only thing I'm saying is, Lord, please give his life back. And I was so tired, doing CPR. I did that for like 5 minutes, and I've been doing it by myself. I do breathe on him. He was full of blood, and what happened was he jumped on the pool, he hit his forehead in the bottom of the pool, and he became unconscious. And that's what happened to him. And I don't know who rescued him. Somebody pulled him out of the pool. Somebody told me there was 2 guys pulled it out of the pool. I never seen them.
Sorry, just to interrupt you over there. You said nobody had seen those guys there. He said there was no guys there, but there was 2 guys who pulled him out from the pool. Yeah. We don't know who those guys were.
I don't know who's that guy.
Secondly, when you seen Richard out, did he have any pulse?
He no pulse at all. He was really.
And the reason I'm asking because Amy is a trained nurse.
Yeah.
She's a trained nurse. Okay, she's a nurse, so she knows exactly what she's talking about. So when she searched for pulse, she could not find pulse. What happened when you opened his eyes? What did you see?
His eyes it's not moving at all. His tongue is already, his tongue is already, you can't even see. So I pulled out his tongue because I'm trying to give him his breath, and do CPR at the same time. But I have to pull out his tongue. So I pulled it out his tongue so, he could get air, so. And there was a lady who came and helped me because I was also screaming for help. And I said, help, I need help. And somebody helped me. It was a lady who helped me rescue, and who also did the CPR. But somebody told me it was a guy, it was a man. I said, no, she was a lady. And I believe the Lord is doing that, for me. So, and he was also, while I was, after like 8 minutes giving CPR on him, and he's speaking, in tongues. So I never heard Richard speaking in tongues.
And you tell me, do you believe in miracles? This guy is a living testimony right here. He's a living testimony of what God can do. He's a changed person now. I know the Richard before this incident, and I know the Richard after this incident. He's a changed person now. Because his desire is to go and tell everybody what God has done in his life. God has done a mighty thing in his life. God has brought him back. God has given, and I like the word that he used, God has leased him a new life. And he's going to use his life to give God glory. Amen. Hallelujah. Come on, let's give God glory to him today. Richard is standing and you can see him moving his hands. The day my wife went to bring him from the airport, he was like a giant robot. He couldn't move his hands. He was just like this. His hands were just like this. And now it's just getting better and better and better and better. And just last week, you went back to work. It means you're not officially back in work, but you're going and doing stuff, typewriting, because he's lost his sensation on the fingertips. He has no sensation on the fingertips. But slowly, God is restoring things back. He can move. He can do things by himself. He can. He's quite independent. He could not even open the knob of the door. Nothing. He could not do nothing. And today, what you're looking at Richard right now is God's miracle. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you.